Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So, wow, we finally have things going in our favour for a change, which is nice. It's really great, actually, really great on land so far. We had Clark Field unexpectedly fall about, was it 2 or 3 days ago? But that is really very important. We're looking pretty damn solid here. It is actually superb. Singapore has finally fallen. We could have had it days earlier, but we had really bad rolls when it came to the actual combat there. We were close sometimes, and then sometimes we just had really bad rolls. But the city has finally fallen, the fortress has finally fallen. We do need to go ahead and carry out repairs. We may go ahead and actually expand the size of the shipyard. I mean, that'd be really cool. There is industry over here in Singapore. I don't know if I'm going to repair the industry. I don't think it's particularly worthwhile, really. I'd have to really think about it. I mean, like 11 and 13 maybe, but it's one of those of like, it's going to pay for itself. I mean, the heavy industry will probably pay for itself sooner than the light industry, of course, but then it's a case of, well, heavy industry requires fuel, whereas light industry doesn't, so maybe the light industry would be potentially worthwhile repairing. But I might just leave that industry there, really, because it's like, okay, but I don't know. I'm benefiting from it because I've captured it. I don't really want to like put more into it if I can't. I mean, I'd hold it a long time. Singapore's going to probably be one of the bases that may last throughout the entire war, potentially. Possibly. And it's one of those of when it is a ×2 hex. So it's not super tough to take, but obviously we'd look at fortifying it. But it's its position there. It's a very large base. It can be obviously held. And this is but to control Singapore, you've got to be able to control the seas around it. You've got to be able to, importantly, control the air around it. If you control the air of the sea around Singapore, it is a exceptionally good base. And we'll be able to make use of it. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we could potentially expand the size of the shipyards. That might be something we'll consider. We may consider that. But I don't know if I'd want to consider it at Singapore, because it's one of those of like, why not potentially consider it like somewhere like Saigon? Obviously, Saigon's different because you can only go up the river. But Singapore, you can actually get all ships there. But it's like, well, maybe I'd want to look towards ports that are closer to the actual interior of the Empire, just to make them safer. But we'll have it repaired. It'd be well worthwhile. It's going to be great to have a 50,000-ton capacity dockyard out there. It's going to be really nice. Shipyard, sorry. Be really great. But level 9 port is going to be like, amazing. The level 6 airfield, I might go ahead and actually have that expanded to a size 7 airfield, so I could actually go ahead and like do a lot of actual upgrades and etc. out there, no problemo. It's going to be great. It's going to be really great. I mean, it's strange doing a replay after the fact, because I've already sent the turn off last night actually, so who's, well, here's hoping we get it today. That'd be nice to keep the momentum there. We are almost in position now to launch invasion of Java. I do have these forces over here. They are being loaded up aboard once again. So we're going to have the essentially the 56 divisions will be loaded back over there, loaded back up. They're going to move coastally along here. Then we're going to move in towards this base over here. I do have another 2 regiments and a tank regiment there. So what I might go ahead and do then, they're going to make Banjarmass and Banjarmason next turn. So what we'll do is we'll wait for these forces to actually set out. And what we might do then is it'd be nice to try and have the landings take place at the same time, to land over here and to land over here, to try and ensure just maximum success, really. I mean, what we'd have to do then is once we did land, and it does look, it'd be very easy to capture that. There's only 1 unit there. There's only 1 unit there. We have major roads in here, so what we'd have to do is take a regiment. And in fairness, actually having it, having them as non-divisions, as like separate forces, is probably decent enough for us to work with. It would be better to have a division available for Batavia, so it's a stronger unit, but we can make do. I might look at getting a division there just to have something like that, but we'll see. Regiments will still do it. They'll just probably take a little bit more damage in all fairness, so we'll consider that. But anyhow, what we'll do when we land is we'll have a regiment or armoured unit move immediately inland to secure this space over here, And by doing that, what we'll do then is we'll not only cut Java in half, but we'll cut it into quarters as well. So it'll be the Dutch quarter, Dutch quarter, Dutch quarter, and then, well, Dutch third there. And then we'll move, obviously, to take the interior and to take the rest of the island. We're going to have a regiment moved across here to Merrick. I do have forces being sent south this turn. So I'm going to have lots of low-value ships over here. With okay capacity, but they're going to be moving south. They're going to be escorted, of course. They're going to have a heavy cruiser escort them to They've also got they've got 2 light cruisers in here, 2 patrol craft, 2 patrol boats in there. Obviously, these are like essentially like all destroyers, really. But yeah, they're gonna have a decent escort. They've got 2. I think it's like a Kuma and a Sendai. So we have Kiso in here. So we've got 2 Kumas actually in here. Interestingly enough, they have mines. I've never actually noticed that before. Huh. I never actually noticed they had mine capability, but that's going to come in quite handy, actually. Just make me wonder if other light cruisers have mine capabilities. I've never actually considered that, because I've never looked to a light cruiser to lay mines, but that's actually really quite interesting, actually. Cool, cool, that's cool. That's a nice little bonus there. And we do have Suzuya. She's going to be moving there to Escort, which is a Megami class. I love the Megamis. They've got a decent well, they've got an adequate amount of AA. The reason is because they have these 12.7 joules, which are brilliant. These 25s don't really matter, but the joules over here are fantastic. Dual purpose guns with the 16,000 yard range are just like, yes, please. I do have travel alongside it. This has actually got a good AA value for Japan. We do have the Fubuki 2s over here. These guys also carrying the dual purpose 12.7s, which are great news. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing that is because air attack is going to be the actual problem there, not so much sea. So I'm going to have them move along there, so if they do come into attack, then they are likely to shoot things down, or at least have a better chance of doing so. I would have considered potentially sending more naval assets, but I think just a heavy cruiser group with some destroyers over here. We're very close to our own positions here. We're moving to a actual allied base there. Well, our own base there, so I don't think we need to worry. Probably PT boats is the worst case thing. But those ships are heading down south with no supply. There's only one of them, I think, has a little bit of supply. There's no troops aboard. So if it attacks them and they get damaged, okay, well, that happens. But there's no real risk. We could obviously repair the ships if they are damaged. But if it attacks with PT boats, there's not really any risk. We'll be able to shoot the PT boats up pretty nicely. But yeah, it's looking great. We'll land and it's going to be great. We're going to have paratroopers land over here. What I might go ahead and do is actually have paratroopers land in this base and potentially even this base. We'll look for bases that are empty, and I could have paratroopers land in those empty bases then. But essentially what we're going to look at doing is just trying to capture as much of Java as quickly as possible. And to be honest, once we land, due to the actual major road system, it's going to be really awesome. It is going to be genuinely quite awesome. I might even potentially have the forces that land at Semarang potentially move north. We might even have them land over there, to be honest, but we'll see. It depends on how much resistance there is. There's 12 units over here. There's 8 units over here. So, we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is clear terrain down here. It'd be nice to have had those in those divisions in full, as full divisions, in all honesty, but hey, that's fine. We have enough to take it. I might just go ahead and actually move to the north to Batavia then, just to concentrate on Batavia, perhaps. I'd rather take out one base and go for the other, but we're looking pretty good. We'll see what we have there, but we'll just try and capture as much of Java as quickly as possible, really. Eliminate all these other units in the interior, and that'll remove, like, AV quite nicely. So that's going to be the plan there. We'll be fighting clear terrain here, so we'll be doing pretty well. We'll be going pretty well there. And ideally we take out aircraft. That'd be nice. But just capture as much as we can, as quickly as we can, and just really just run wild in Java. That'd be excellent. There's not much you can do to stop that. We will have the aircraft here to be able to protect that. We have the Key 43s over here. Some Key 43s over here. I do have the capability to move Zeros into cover as well, which is nice. So we'll be able to run cover. We have the Key 43s over here as well. Actually, I forgot to rest these aircraft last turn. Actually, I should have had them put to rest. I forgot about that. But that's fine. That's okay. They're not going to attack anything anyway. So they should just rest. They're set to Singapore. I forgot to put their rest settings on there, so I'm hoping that doesn't go badly. But that's fine. There's still some escorts there, so if they decide to bomb something else, they should be okay. But it should be fine. I wish I'd told them to rest now. I forgot about that. Damn. But that's okay. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to have essentially... I mean, this is it. I moved some Key 27s over here to Jambi to actually provide cap. I might go ahead and move a unit over here to Marie to give them cover as well. And then what we'll probably do then is have the other Key 27 group move over Palembang probably. But what we'll do with the bombers, we'll have the bombers actually transition into Thailand, and then we'll use all that air power against Burma essentially. I'm greatly looking forward to what we can do here in Burma. Burma will fall much earlier than it did historically. I think Rangoon historically fell in March 42 or something of that nature. I'm definitely looking at February being able to capture it. If I had the supply over here and potentially a little bit more, like another division or something, then we probably could have gone for Rangoon. I could probably go for Rangoon now, but I'd rather move into the interior and try and just isolate Rangoon and make sure we capture it, and when we do capture it, that's it. His forces do surrender, because that would be fantastic. I'd rather have him surrender at Rangoon than run off to fight in the interior, essentially. But we're looking good there. When the zeros are available, we'll have the Zero Squadron move into Thailand. I might have I've got the Tainan Squadron over here with Baldwab. I might have that in this area over here in the Southern Duchies Indies area. Possibly just to give us that fighter strength, that fighter cover perhaps. But we'll see. I could just as easily have it moved into Thailand and obviously used against Burma. We're going to try to shred the AVG, try and destroy them. And then from that point, what we might do is actually have aircraft transition into China, perhaps, because it's like we don't need humongous amounts of bombers, because we can't always protect them against, like, competent enemies. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to actually have a lot of bombers moved into China, where they could actually go ahead and be useful. We could even potentially use them for training purposes, but yeah, it is looking good. I'm looking forward to it. In China, we're going pretty well. We're marching down Nanyang. I'm going to have another few divisions march on Nanyang. And we're going to drive on towards Xi'an. The drive on towards Xi'an would be fantastic. I mean, capturing that little bit of oil there would be absolutely well worthwhile. That refinery, heavy industry, light industry is nice. It'd be all nice to capture intact. I don't think it's going to be going to happen that way. But being able to capture it would be fantastic. I don't think we'll be able to move for Chongqing. I don't think we'd have that opportunity to do that. But I'm not too bothered about that. We're going to be moving to capture Rangoon shortly. So once Rangoon and Burma is ours, then the Burma road is well and truly shut off there. And then also we can move to the north to take control of Xi'an and take control of... whereabouts is it? Lanchao. Then that's a lot of fuel gone from China as well, which is awesome. And let's see. So I don't think he has... I mean, that might be the way to kill China in the long run, really. So he doesn't really have fuel production over here. He'd probably have it transfer maybe across here, but I don't think he can't fly fuel in. It could, yeah, if we take all these bases over here, there's no fuel that's going to be transitioning anywhere. So that might be the way we kill China in the long run, then, is like trying to get to the fuel and then try and shut down his heavy industry. He still has a light industry, but if we could shut down the heavy industry, that'd be nice. I mean, that would be less heavy industry producing supply then, which would be awesome. But that'd be a really cool thing to do. But yeah, he may come to regret not moving his assets as we do really get ourselves into position to launch a really big general offensive. What we're going to do, and I do have divisions in this area, I've not decided to launch the offensive against Changsha as of yet, because I'd like to actually have the armor available for that. It is urban light but at Changsha, so it would be nice to concentrate armor, artillery, engineers, and take Changsha. Because Changsha would be nice, so that industry would be very good for us there. A lot of battles actually damaged, so interesting. But indeed, yeah, things are going well. We're crushing Chinese cores left, right, and centre so far, which obviously they will reappear over here in Chongqing, but if we take the positions, we're looking pretty good. The ultimate plan is going to be to move into India, to seize the Raj, essentially. And that can be done. What we're going to do here, and this is going to be like a big priority, I've actually got like a task force set up for it already, actually. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, we're going to move about 10,000 tons of supply to Port Blair initially. I'm going to get engineers and construction units moved over to Port Blair. We're going to actually move the air flotilla in Palembang to Port Blair. And then what we'll do is we'll build up the airfield to size 4, we'll build the port up to a size 3 port, we'll mine it and put PT boats, give it a cap, and give it obviously offensive measures. But Port Blair is going to be a dagger aimed at the heart of the Bay of Bengal, essentially. It's going to be a dagger aimed at this area. Because what we could do then is actually station aircraft, and we could launch torpedoes out into this area, and what we're gonna look to do then is essentially create a situation where he cannot employ the Royal Navy carriers. Not without actual land-based support, perhaps. So we wouldn't strike him about this point. We'd strike at him beyond the range of his actual land bases. And then we'll really make it difficult for him to operate in the Bay of Bengal. And if I could actually secure control of the seascape in this area by controlling the skies in this area, we'd be able to really cause us some problems. And it would be lovely revenge to be able to strike back at the Royal Navy. That would be very nice. Being able to sink the Hermes and being able to sink any of the new carriers would be absolutely fantastic. But the good news is it's far easier to sink the Royal Navy than it is to sink the USN, because obviously the USN have far more space. But in the Bay of Bengal, there's not that much room. If we can force him out of the area, that'd be brilliant news. But yeah, I cannot wait. We're looking pretty good. We're not too far away from being where we need to be in terms of industry. So you can see over here, max production of the refineries is 24,605. We have max production of oil at 21,840. There's more oil that we can capture, and we will be capturing more oil. Obviously, it's going to be a different story, because this obviously needs to get back to Japan. But my god, if we can stockpile... It's like right now our stockpile of oil is 2.963. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure how much of that is in Japan proper. If I go over here to oil, that's producing... what I'll do is sort by heavy industry. If I sort by the amount of oil, that's oil requirements. But yeah, you can see over here we have just shy of 1 million units of oil at Tokyo. There's 600,000 units over here, 400,000 units over here, 322,000 units over here. So, in Japan proper, there's obviously, there's probably about a million plus units, maybe closer to 2 million units, but 1 million plus units easily of oil. If I can double, triple, quadruple that number, that's going to keep us going for a long time. But that is going to be the aim. Like, we need to keep fighting the long war. He's been winning it, he's been winning on the seas for a little while now due to sinking carriers, obviously making it very difficult for us. He hasn't delivered any decisive blows as of yet, which is good news. And as long as we build up the amount of aircraft we have, we'll be good to go, and we'll be able to keep fighting back, and we're going to hunker down, essentially. I mean, the war for Japan is a war for autarky, and that's what we need to actually establish. If we can actually establish Japan as an autarkic state, essentially being able to be self-sufficient with the conquests that we have, we'll be able to keep Japan going for quite a while. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be very difficult. The Allies will eventually overwhelm us in key sectors, and then things will start to go poorly. But who knows, we might still be able to put up a pretty damn good fighting chance, really. But yeah, what would be nice, though, is to try and have industry displaced across the empire, really. I mean, China's going to be very interesting. I mean, this is it. I didn't think we'd be able to gain much against him in China. But we are gaining ground quite quickly right now, which is understandable because he's not doing anything about it yet. He will do in the near future. When he does, well, we'll take it from there. But if I can seize key objectives, if I can close off the Burma Road, if I could take the fuel and oil in the north and the industry from the north there, it's going to be difficult for him because he's going to have, like, a big supply consumption there, and he's not going to be able to fill it easily. And then, obviously, he's going to be... That's going to become, increasingly problematic as he runs out of supply and he can't keep the fight going, which would be brilliant. If we could conquer China wholesale, that'd be amazing. That would definitely see us be in a great position there, a very strong, a very safe position in China, really. I mean, just as hard as it is to conquer it, it'd be the same again. We don't even have to worry about the Soviets, to be honest. But if we have control of China, then the Soviets aren't as bad because, well, we could spend a lot of time, we could spend a lot of our actual forces on the border with the Soviets, and really try to just secure it, to be honest. Alright, it's looking good. We're looking good. I'm looking forward to it. Rabaul has been repaired. We should see the runways completely repaired this coming turn. The surface damage will be getting down there. And then we'll be able to launch missions again, which would be excellent news. And then obviously repair the port, and then we can carry on expanding the airfield. We do have far more supply being moved into this area, moving supply down to these bases. It is a little bit risky, but the sooner I can get supply to these bases, the better. And it looks to be a fairly safe time, considering we do see ships down here. We haven't seen his carriers yet, but if they're moved down there, it's probably safe. But we'll build this area up. We're going to build up the interior over here so we can't come in and bombard bases like WoW. Well, how are you going to pronounce that? We'll build this area up, and then start building our way down here. The Kopang area is going to be built up shortly. I just need to get the engineers and the actual aviation units there. We're not too far away from having ASW squadrons actually available too, and then that will be really awesome, because that's going to be able to, well, it's going to drive submarines out of these areas. It'll make it just impossible for them to operate. They'll start taking damage and they'll be driven out of the area. It's looking good. Frankly, it's looking positive. We've had some nasty days, but even the defeat of Rabaul, I mean, it was a defeat. We didn't get to claim any victories back then, unfortunately. Just didn't get an opportunity. Things just did not go our way. But frankly, if we can actually build up the area as we wish to, and he comes back into that area, he is going to take serious damage, and we may actually be able to win without having to commit our carriers then. We do have a very sneaky way now we can strike a Dadman as well. This is something that is going to be really quite fun using the Bihoro 11 unit. It's very gamey, it's super gamey, and I fully admit that, but this is a game with very little rules, and this is fine. What we'll be doing then is using our Bihoro 11 unit. And what I can do here then is monitor things. So if I take a look over here, so if we sort by aircraft, so you can see over here, we can see the amount of aircraft he has at Pearl Harbor, we can see how many groups he has over here at Pearl Harbor, we can see the supply he has at Pearl Harbor, we can see the sports he has at Pearl Harbor, etc. I think that might have actually gone up here, actually. I'd have to double check from past turns. But what I can see here then is previously he did have 12 aircraft at Canton Island, but they're no longer there now. Let me sort by supply, that's better actually. Yeah, so Canton Island had aircraft the turn before, but it no longer does now. And if we take a look for Baker Island over here has no aircraft. There's no support there, there's no aircraft there, there's only 10 supplies there, there's nothing there right now, as far as we can tell. Maybe like some sort of ground unit, but nothing there. But the awesome thing is, we've been able to see that he has moved aircraft to Palmyra. So what I've been able to do then is take these two submarines over here. I'm going to have them move down to Palmyra. We'll obviously work on the actual patrol patterns over there, probably get more subs out that way. But essentially what we're going to do then is use our intelligence, because this is it, you wouldn't move that many aircraft for no reason. He knows that we're not likely to strike at Palmyra unless we're using submarines, but this is it, he's moving those aircraft out there because he's moving something to Palmyra. Maybe a large convoy that he wants to have secured. But we're going to move subs out there and we're going to try and sink something. It's going to be fantastic. We can't do it yet, but what we're going to do when the Kidipati is in a better shape is what we'll be able to do is, like, because we absolutely know there's no aircraft in this area here right now. I didn't even know about these guys, I didn't look at that one. We see something out there, that's good to know about. Moving southwest. I did spot that actually in the actual turn. Moving southwest is interesting. But yes, what we'll be able to do then is, because we know there's no aircraft here at Baker, we know there's no aircraft over here at Canton, we know there's no aircraft over here, is what we'll do then is we'd bring in the carrier, we'd bring in the Kidipati, we'd bring enough ground troops to be able to take a base. But what we'd do then is essentially we'd go in hard, we'd land at Canton Island, destroy all the support on Canton Island, load that supply back up, and get the hell out. And that's the beautiful thing, we'd be able to know when he's moving aircraft there. We'd be able to know where his aircraft surge is, potentially. It's game is help, but we're going to use it. This is our own version of magic, essentially. But yeah. You can imagine being able to go in here and destroy 84 aviation support. That's no small number. He doesn't have a huge amount. And being able to get in there, take supply, ruin his facilities, destroy his aviation engineers. That's going to hurt. It'd be really good, and we could just do that. Capturing the base would be nice as well. Even if I don't use the base, he then has to come back in here to recapture that. So that's going to be the way we actually go about things. And the cool thing is as well, we know that he has aircraft over here at Leyton Island and over here at French Frigate Shoal. There's no airfields there, so that means he's using an AB. So what we'd be able to do then is we'd be able to group up a number of submarines actually, or even have like lone like cruisers sent to these islands over here. Because we know that he'll be operating like an AV. So what we could do then is have like submarines going as a wolf pack and just try and sink the AVs. Or the light cruisers and just try and sink them. And it's really good. It just really helps us out in a massive way. It gives us a level of intelligence that he can't have. I mean, maybe it works both ways, but I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's going to give us a really nice advantage. It's very, very gamey. It's super gamey. But this is a game with very little rules, and we'll use it against him. So, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking very much forward to the future turns. I'm looking very much forward to the invasion of Java. I'm looking forward to when we can capture Burma. Burma will fall, and with it, India will fall thereafter. It may take some effort to be able to secure Burma from the Chinese forces over here. But if I take Lashio and like the base up over here as well, I mean, we can see here jungle rough, we have mountainous terrain, we have a lot of stuff that works in our favor. What I'd do is I'd probably park Thai units over here. I'd use the Thai units to actually garrison Burma as well. But it gives us another way to potentially strike at China as well. If I could actually move a unit over here. I mean, that one's a tough one because it's like rivers. But if it's not a very large unit in there, I could march in there with a sufficient enough force to actually kick him out of that hex and be able to seize that hex. And that would definitely help us out even more. It'd mean that he wouldn't have anything moving across into China, which would be excellent. If I can stop any supply and anything moving across into China, we might be able to kill China economically, which is going to be real nice. Taking China would be amazing for us. That would definitely help us out in the long term, because then we'd have a lot of forces that they would have to pay PP to be able to leave China. But it means I'm not having to use supply in China for the fighting. I could have all the ground forces on rest and training. And really what I would do is actually have a lot of them moved over to the Soviet border. And there could be a consideration of attacking the Soviet Union, which would be kind of crazy. But if we had enough forces and if we had won China completely, it could be potentially considered. The Soviets aren't that strong from the outset, but we could potentially engineer things to be able to attack the Soviets, perhaps. It's a consideration. It's a very wild consideration, but it could be potentially considered. But yeah, I don't know if we'd be able to do it and take India, but it's something we could potentially consider doing there. You can imagine, obviously, taking control of Siberia and removing the Soviets as a threat would be really, really a game changer. I mean, that would give us stability in Asia, in mainland Asia. That'd be incredible. And there's a lot that we could actually take from the Soviets out here. A lot that could take. Sorry, God, I can't speak. Like, there's oil over here in the north, which is amazing. Like 80 oil over there. When that's built up, that'd be incredible for us. Just things like that make a big difference, and that's not too far away from the Homeland, which is fantastic. Like Vladivostok over here, and that's a lot of industry, repair shipyards. It would be a difficult fight, but it could be one that we could win, and that would be nice. If we could concentrate the Kwantung army and the Chinese army against it, then, well, the army of China against it, then I think it could be done. The earlier the better, before the Soviets become too strong. We'd have to have like a ridiculous amount of like Ki-45 nicks to try and just bat away his armored units and stuff like that, but it could be done. It'd be difficult, but it could be done. But we need to win China first, so that's going to be what we do then. Essentially, we're going to try and just really, really just go for it. Absolutely go for it as much as we can, as hard as we can. Try and take it. What we'll do then is, the first phase of China will be to conquer Xi'an. We need to conquer Burma. If we then conquer Burma and then we're able to move into India, that's going to be fantastic. I mean, being able to see somewhere like Calcutta would be absolutely fantastic there. You take a look at all of that industry, repair shipyard. I wouldn't be able to capture all of that, but even capturing part of that would be nice. Taking away from the enemy would be brilliant, and giving it to the Empire would be even nicer. I mean, there's like lots of industry out here, and it'd need a lot of fuel to actually keep it going. But in fairness, if I've got fuel being produced in like Burma and etc., then it's a good use for it, really. Having those heavy industry points banked would be nice. Even getting that supply sent back to Japan wouldn't be a bad thing either. Looking pretty good. He doesn't get reinforcements until we got to Delhi, like extra reinforcements until we got to Delhi. So that could be something that we could bear in mind. There's a lot of large bases out here. It'd be very difficult to hold on to. He could choose to land somewhere in the future, and it would be quite a fight. And if he brings enough force, we can't hold it. That noise outside, by the way, is a ice cream van, so... Yay, ice cream! It's looking pretty cool. Ceylon would be amazing to take, though. Like, Colombo would be absolutely amazing. That would make a really good little fortress out there. But there we go. Thank you for watching there, ladies and gentlemen. Tenno Heka Banzai. And I'd like to ask you guys if you would like to become part of the R&D staff. And what I mean by that is if you guys pledge $1 to myself on Patreon, then you join at the A5M4 launching point, which is pretty cool. You become part of the A5M4 design staff, which is cool. And this is it. It's like, with the way that things are shaping up in terms of economics, because I do not know what the hell the future's going to look like. I don't know what the job market's going to be like when I do go to university. If just like 1 in 10 of you who viewed my content pledged $1 a month, that would make a tremendous difference. So please join the dollar a day keeps the allies away campaign for XTRG, and that would be much appreciated. Personally, I would be astounded. It'd be amazing. It is begging, but I'm a little bit worried about the monetary situation in the future, but we'll see. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Thank you for watching there, ladies and gentlemen. I shall see you in the future. Tera Banzai. Sayonara. Janae. See you next time.